to increase, because this is an area we want to focus on. We engaged 68,870 persons in sports on anti-doping education. Because our medals will start going down if we allow our young people to be influenced negatively to take drugs, drug enhancing, substances for them to perform well. We are endowed sufficiently. God did his job pretty well, and we don't need drugs to perform well. But we have to keep on appraising our young people to avoid getting into such situations. We trained 6,960 athletes and 3,683 technical personnel in various sports disciplines. Now, on culture, the arts and heritage, we empowered 2,720 women and girls on contemporary beading. This is something that Maasais do very well, but also other communities, and we have monetized it as it is. We want particularly women and girls to benefit from contemporary beading so that we can be able to compete also with the other countries that are engaged in the same. We have also honored 142 heroes representing diverse contributions to Kenya's freedom, unity, and development. I think traditionally we've been honoring those who fought for our independence. But we are going further now and also appreciating those who are making our nation cohesive, because there is no way we are going to develop unless we are one. It goes without saying. Even scripture encourages us to be one. And therefore those also who are promoting unity, we appreciate them. But most importantly also, those who are engaged in matters development, those who are establishing enterprises that are employing our young people, it's only right that we appreciate them. We have held 21 cultural festivals across the board, even Turkana, Maasai. Today the PS culture is in Lamu, for the cultural festival there. That is the only way we can appreciate our culture and monetize it, when tourists come to appreciate it, when young people perform and they are paid for it. That is the only way we can then appreciate cultural festivities economically, from an economic perspective. But we have also empowered 3,397 artists and cultural practitioners. We have restored and conserved 9 heritage sites, mausoleum, and monuments. We have established a national digital repository and 13 digital repositories in counties, and we have acquired 13,772 archival materials, digitized 1.3 million public records, and microfilmed 203,977 analog records. Because you can't keep them in the state that they are in, but for future reference, it's critical then that our young people be able to access this information at the Kenya National Archives. Then when we move to the youth affairs and creative economy, we have disbursed, ladies and gentlemen, 553 million, that's nearly $500 million, in loans to 28,003 youth entrepreneurs. Because we want to establish a culture of enterprise, savings, establishing businesses through investments, and as they employ themselves, they employ their younger brothers and sisters. We have trained 218,902 youth in entrepreneurship. We have trained 24,507 youth on entrepreneurship skills. We have provided guidance and counseling on career development and sexual and reproductive health to 1,177,480 young people at youth empowerment centers established across the country. Why is career development key? The work environment keeps on changing time after time. And therefore, the need for us to train our young people in skills that will make them as employable as possible. The challenges that we have with employers continuously raising the issue of we produce graduates who do not meet their expectations has to be addressed. Not only in terms of the curriculum, but also in terms of the careers that these young people should undertake. We facilitated 1,745 local and foreign film producers to produce films in Kenya. We earn in terms of their per diem, we earn in terms of the young people who are engaged, as support staff and also as actors and actresses. We have trained 1,847 filmmakers, issued 1,795 film licenses, and nurtured 60 students in film production. That is for the youth affairs and creative economy. Then we move to labor and skills development. We have facilitated the placement of 494,275 workers in jobs locally and abroad through the National Employment Services. We have the National Employment Authority that coordinates, that promotes jobs not only within the economy but also outside. We have established a labor attaché office in Berlin. This was done about 2 months ago because we signed a bilateral labor agreement with Germany last year. We have moved with speed to deploy a labor attaché whose mandate will be to know where Kenyans are working, the exact location where they are, and they can be able to attend to any of their issues, safeguard their interests, so that in case anything comes up, if a Kenyan finds himself or herself in a distressing situation, the labor attaché should be able to address it. We have signed a labor mobility agreement with Germany and an MOU with Austria and also with the state of Nebraska in US. We have also trained 251,077 persons on relevant industrial skills. We have assessed and certified competencies for 272,503 persons through the government trade testing in our TVETs, and 9,503 persons through recognition of prior learning. Let me just explain. Sometimes you have young people who have acquired experience, who have gained skill by working in a particular sector for some time. They are mechanics, for example, but they don't have a certificate. Yet ukimwona akiangusha hiyo engine ya Mercedes Benz, ataiangusha chini, ataitengeneza, ataiunda, atairudisha. So we know they have the skills that they have gained over time. But the problem is they don't have certificates. So what government is doing is we assess their skills. We do an assessment of whether they truly have the competencies or not. And when we realize they do and subject them to an examination, we issue them with a certificate. Now, that gives confidence to their clientele. Because every time you are taking your German machine or whatever it is, or maybe it is a saloon, you can have confidence in terms of the skills of this person who is rendering these services because the certificate is displayed on the wall. But not only that, they can also gain employment when job opportunities are opening up in countries abroad, in Europe. Like we have a program we are pursuing currently with the World Bank. If it is possible, 100 RPL graduates, recognition of prior learning, we take them abroad to work in Canada. In fact, I had discussions with the World Bank and the Canadian delegation last week. I was in Canada about 3 weeks ago to start off that program. So recognition of prior learning is the way to go. We're not going to ask these young people to go back to class again. They are no longer young, some of them, by the way. Some of them are in their middle age, because the informal sector is extremely large in Kenya in comparison to the formal sector. So we want to certify those skills and allow them then to gain more by issuing them with certificates. We have trained 23,218 youth on online employment skills development. This is the way to go. Kazi mtandaoni, online jobs is the way to go, because there are many opportunities opening up where you can work from the confines of your home and still be able to earn a lot of money. And we have trained 57,000 members on workplace safety and health committees on occupational safety and health matters. Then on social protection, we have dispersed we've dispersed cash to 1.749 million beneficiaries under the Inua Jamii Cash Transfer Program, comprising of 1,253,045 older persons, 63,607 households with persons with severe disability. Those who have children with severe disabilities, we give them some cash handouts. 443,000 households with orphans and vulnerable children. We've also registered 175,467 community self-help groups. We have supported 152,403 persons with disability in terms of registration, and provided 12,705 PWDs with assistive devices like wheelchairs, and the like. We have provided therapy services to 15,884 persons and drugs to about 7,000 persons with autism. We have provided sunscreen lotion to 3,800 persons with albinism, and we have managed nearly 1,946,000 child protection cases and placed 1,508 children under alternative family care options. Then, as I come to an end on our achievements on gender and affirmative action, we've disbursed 3.33 billion to 10,785 affirmative action groups and provided 155,580 needy students with bursaries and scholarships through the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. We have disbursed 3.12 billion to 261,681 women entrepreneurs and trained 361,000 women entrepreneurs on financial literacy through the Women Enterprise Fund. We have trained 64,000 persons on gender mainstreaming. We have trained 43,700 resource persons and duty bearers on anti-female genital mutilation. It's sad that many years after independence, we are still talking of FGM, but it is a reality that we have to tackle, and we call upon you as stakeholders also to assist us on this. It is an old and repugnant way of doing things. We have trained 11,485 persons on psychosocial support and counseling to handle GBV cases. Now, the next one is the sector medium priorities and financial plan for the next 3 years. So we've told you what we have done so far. We need to appraise you on what we are intending to do going forward. On sports, we want to promote and develop sports at all levels, right from the grassroots, be it at sublocational, locational, divisional, be it at county or sub-county level. On culture and heritage, we want to advocate for the promotion, preservation, conservation, and maintenance of diverse cultures. On the arts, we want to cultivate, enhance, and advance the creative arts sector. You've seen our young people over the weekend, taking photographs along our streets and monetizing that particular skill. That's the way to go. and we should encourage it even more. Library services improve the preservation and conservation of the national documentary heritage, and also make use of them as facilities where young people can go and revise in order to perform better. Public records management, effectively manage, preserve, and achieve all public records within the entire public sector. Youth empowerment, enhance youth employability, entrepreneurship, and job creation. So as we encourage our young people to undertake courses that will make them as employable as possible, the others who can establish enterprises, we also push that agenda by giving them seed capital, and therefore they will not only employ themselves, but their younger brothers and sisters. Youth development services, we want our youth to be engaged in matters national development at all levels. Because of this reason, if in accordance with our statistics, we all agree that 75% of our population is comprised of those who are 35 years and below, then those are our clients. Our clientele is growing younger with the years, and therefore we need to come up with programs that will ensure their development. Film development, promote, develop, and regulate the film industry so that there is no undue competition from outside, leaving out our young people, and therefore the need to regulate that industry. And then on labor employment, foster collaborative labor and employment relations while promoting a robust culture of safety and health within the workplace. This affects the dignity of the African man. There is no way we can allow our workers to operate or to work in environments that are wanting, that are not conducive. We have to safeguard the interest of our people by ensuring that we inspect these facilities in order to safeguard their safety and health. On manpower development, we want to improve competencies, enhance graduate placement in industry-relevant jobs. We want to promote inclusive social development by empowering individuals, communities, and persons with disability and quality of adult learning and education. We want to strengthen and coordinate social protection systems for effective delivery of interventions that cushion vulnerable groups, and even here we are talking of older persons, and those who live with disabilities, safeguard their basic needs and dignity. On community development, we want to promote socio-economic empowerment. On gender empowerment, we want to mainstream gender in government and the private sector, and to promote equitable social economic development. On child protection, we want to protect and safeguard our children. They are our heritage as it is. They are the future of our country and of Africa. So we want to protect them against all forms of violence, and to promote family-based care and reintegration for vulnerable children, including child rights enforcement. This is very key, because over 45% of our population is comprised of children. On general administration, planning and support, we want to enhance the efficiency of service delivery and the coordination of functions, programs, and activities of the various state departments. So, what are we requesting for? The total resource requirements for next financial year is 138.73 billion. For 27-28, it will be 123.62 billion. And for 28-29, because this is a medium-term budget, 131.49. So the sector's allocation, unfortunately, is 86.92 billion for financial year 26-27, 83.38 billion for 27-28, and 90.36 billion for 28-29. Our ask was in accordance with our priorities, but the fiscal space that is available only limits us to those figures. So the next slide is just an analysis of the resource requirements vis-a-vis the resource allocations as I have read them out. Next slide. And why were we requesting for this? It's because we want to complete the Talanta Sports City and upgrade 3 stadiums, that is Moi International, Nyayo National, and Kipchoge Keino, where a number of athletes come from, to AFCON standards. So there are standards that we need to meet. And that is the reason why we needed all this money. We want to complete 20 sports academies on annual basis. Now that we have realized this is an area we can monetize and gain a lot of money. We want to facilitate 153 teams in various disciplines to represent Kenya regionally and internationally. We want to host 26 international sports competitions. We want to register 1,350 sports organizations, and we want to sensitize 76,000 persons through anti-doping education, I mentioned this, and to conduct 13,000 intelligence-based tests on athletes. Culture and arts, we want to protect 9 heritage sites or monuments and coordinate 9 inter-community cultural exchange programs. We want to develop infrastructure of 3 music studios and nurture talent of nearly 2,000 musicians. We want to empower 1,200 women and girls in 10 pastoral counties on bead craft production so that they can do it to the maximum and gain as much as possible, maximize their profits. We want to commercialize 450 cultural and creative products to unlock jobs for cultural practitioners, youth and women. We want to digitize, store and archive 370,000 records in order to safeguard Kenya's documentary heritage, and we want to honor 450 heroes and heroines. On youth affairs, we want to train 90,000 youth on life skills, technical skills for employability and wealth creation. We want to identify, nurture and award 4,422 youth talents through the Who's Next Talent Search program. We want to train and mentor 43,000 youth on entrepreneurship opportunities. We want to provide ICT services, guidance and counseling, talent and career development to 580,000 youth through our one-stop youth empowerment centers. As I say, digital jobs is the way to go. You lack a job, 8 to 5 job, you can as well create your own job. Work at night while other economies are up and running, say US, Canada, and the like, and be able to gain out of it. We want to develop the Kenya Youth Development Index to track progress in the achievement of important milestones among youth, and we want to issue 16,300 licenses to film distributors and exhibitors. Labor and skills development, we want to place 570,000 job seekers in employment, both locally and abroad. We want to negotiate and sign at least 12 bilateral labor agreements and MOUs with key labor destination countries. As I mentioned, we are looking forward to signing one with Canada, and we are pursuing also other European destinations where we know the rights of our people will be protected well. We want to assess and certify 310,000 persons under the government trade test and recognition of prior learning. We want to carry out 39,600 workplace inspections on wages and terms and conditions of employment, ensure that our young people are protected where they are working, that their interests are secured. We want to medically examine 270,000 workers in hazardous occupations and train 22,000 youth on online employment skills. Social protection, we want to disburse 1.2863 beneficiaries with cash transfers under the Inua Jamii cash transfer program, comprising of 1.1 older persons and 63,600 households with PWSDs. We want to train, register, and link 206,000 community groups to microfinance institutions so that they start saving in circles and what have you. We want to sensitize 33,000 community members on healthy aging and older persons' right. You can age gracefully and in a healthy way, you know. But also the need for us to safeguard the interest of older persons. We want to register and issue disability cards to 510,000 persons with disability, because then they can access the benefits that accrue to the same. We want to support 5,000 persons with albinism with sunscreen lotion, and 20,000 persons with autism with essential drugs and supplies. And we want to establish 47 accelerated adult education centers. We want to ensure that our literacy levels are 100%, and it is doable. On children's services, we want to disburse cash transfers to 441,506 households with orphans and vulnerable children, and 22,300 children with presidential secondary school bursary per year. We want to screen and rescue 4,500 victims of trafficking in persons. We want to rescue and reintegrate 20,500 street persons. We want to provide care to 1.3 million children from violence, and protection of 12,610 children of those in conflict with the law. We want to place 50,000 children under alternative family care. On gender and affirmative action, we want to disburse 12 billion shillings to 16,850 affirmative action groups and provide 180,000 needy students with bursaries and scholarships. We want to provide sanitary towels to 11 million girls to ensure retention of girls in schools, and 7,500 dignity kits for those suffering from gender-based violence, the survivors. We want to disburse 3.3 billion to 150,000 women entrepreneurs. We want to train 1,200 duty bearers and sensitize 9,000 persons on elimination of GBV and what we experienced about a year or two ago, femicide, which was not very encouraging in our country. We want to sensitize 99,000 persons on gender mainstreaming and to engage 2,400 survivors as frontliners in the campaign against FGM. The last area that I want to touch on is on cross-sector linkages. Of course, number one is agriculture. We're still dependent on agriculture, so we will liaise with our colleagues in the agriculture, rural and urban development. Energy and infrastructure is equally as key as we ensure that we have Kenya lit up across the board, from northeastern to North Rift to South Rift to southern coast regions, the entire area, and also ensure that we have reliable transport networks. On general economic and commercial affairs, we complement tourism through culture, recreation, sports. We facilitate registration of SACCOs, which contribute immensely towards the financial sector growing in Kenya. On health, to provide access to quality and affordable health. On education, of course, library services, sports and talent development, support our sector in development of skills and competencies through NITA, that's the National Industrial Training Authority, and the other TVETs. On governance and law, in the formulation on various policies and legal instruments that will provide judicial services and law enforcement. On public administration, provide guidance on priority setting, funding, and foreign relations. On environment, provide policy direction on management of environment. On national security, which is key, I've just touched on GBV, ensure that we have peace, security for socio-economic development. So what are some of our challenges? Of course, I've pointed out on inadequate and predictable financing. Unpredictable because sometimes we're unable not only to access the resources, but also the physical space is limited. Skills mismatch and training gaps for the labor market to ensure young people are as employable as possible. inadequate social, sports, and industrial infrastructure, much as we are very ambitious, but we are not yet there. And yet we have so many young people who would wish to participate in sports and make a living out of it. Youth vulnerability and unemployment. Those who are unemployed, of course, they are affected socially, even mentally, and therefore they are unable to perform at their best. And then growing demand for social protection services. We have seen an increase in terms of the requests for social protection, whether it be wazees, whether it be orphans, whether it be children in wanting situations, across the board. So what is our recommendation? And this is where we need you to shout from the rooftop on our behalf: enhancing funding and resource mobilization, improve information management and data reliability, develop labor market relevant skills and empower the youth, modernize sports, cultural and youth-friendly facilities and secure land assets, promotion of youth resilience and sustainable livelihoods, and strengthen social protection services and the care economy. So in conclusion, the continued funding of the sector is key, is critical, is essential. It is a must. This is the way to go if we are to expand our economy. So in financial year 26-27 and in the medium-term period, the sector will continue to implement programs that address the needs of vulnerable groups and communities. We will regulate the labor sector and promote employment opportunities. We will promote Kenya's diverse culture and heritage. We will develop creative art and sports talent. And the contribution of various stakeholders in the realization of these priorities is extremely key. We need you, ladies and gentlemen, because your support will ensure that we safeguard the interest of our people, reduce unemployment, expand our economy, improve our standard of living, which is key. We want to develop as a nation. And I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, PS Mwadime, on that elaborate presentation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Mr. Boaz Munga from Kipra. Is he here? So Boaz was to give us a reflection on that presentation, and I'm informed he's not around. Therefore, we will proceed to the next agenda. We all know why we are here. Public hearings on the proposed budget is a constitutional requirement. It is also in place to ensure resources are aligned with the public needs and to promote transparency, improve accountability by allowing the input on the expenditure priorities. You have listened to the presentation from the PS Bwana Mwadime, where he has highlighted our key priorities when it comes to the expenditure, and also presented that the sector has an allocation which is quite not fitting within the requirements. He reflected that we do have as a sector a requirement for about 138 billion. However, the allocation was about 86.92 billion. So that is why we have invited you here to give us your views, to see how do we balance and how do we look at the priorities. The priorities should come from the public. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time now we have on the floor to deliberate on these proposals that were presented by PS Mwadime. For this reason, I would like the sector representatives from the PS representatives and also the accounting officers that are here to take note of the questions which are in their docket. I will give you time to answer once the public gives us their views. I suggest that we start with the various So for guidance, I know we started late because of the previous sector that was here. And so we plan to finish this session in the next 1 hour. That will be 4:45 p.m. if you allow us. And I will ask the public to give the comments first by giving us your name, the organizations you are representing, and then you go straight to the questions. The questions will be limited to 2 for each person. And the State Department representatives will be noting down the questions, after which they will be expected to give the answers. Allow me to give this chance to the first person. I see quite a number of hands. So, who has the mic? I see the mic is on that side. So, at the top there, on the left, please allow the gentleman in, yes, that one, to ask a question.
Thank you. My name is Brian Chiriot. I'm from Elgeyo Marakwet County Social Accountability Network. And I want to start by thanking you, the State Department of Social Protection, that is Culture and Recreation, for the commendable progress made in the strengthening of social welfare, that is the system and promotion of cultural development across the country. However, Elgeyo Marakwet County continues to face serious child protection challenges, that is particularly the rising case of early pregnancies among the school-going girls, as well as increasing vulnerability facing the youths, including limited access to safe recreation space and inadequate psychological support. In light of these issues, what concrete measures and budgetary allocation does the State Department plan in prioritizing in the financial year 26-27 to 1, strengthening community-based child protection structures, especially to reduce early pregnancies in Elgeyo Marakwet County, and also number 2, enhance youth focus program and promote safety skill development and positive cultural engagement. Additionally, what partnership or policy intervention are being considered to ensure these solutions are sustainable and responsive to the uniqueness needs of rural continues in Elgeyo Marakwet County. So thank you, and also we have a memorandum I'll also like to submit at the end of this session. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have a second person on the other side with Masai Shuka.
Thank you so much. All protocols observed. Mimi naitwa Parasanga Ole Sayanga, na mimi ni mwakilishi wa jamii community. Mimi ni champion na mwalimu wa community sana sana kwa mambo ya kupinga ukeketaji. Kama mnajua, jamii yetu iko na mila maridadi ambayo inatamanika, lakini pia tuko na kipengele cha ukeketaji, na ningependa kumshukuru sana chair kwa sababu nimeona umepatia attention, umetaja ukeketaji katika presentation yako, na wacha niseme hiyo imenifurahisha sana. Kama mwalimu ambayo natembea kule kwa milima Kulal, kwa jamii zote za Wamasai, wa Samburu, wa Meru, wa Sabot, nimetembea kule vijijini na nimefurahi sana kusikia kwamba umetaja kwa kikao ya juu kama hiki. Lakini pia chair, ulipotaja nilisikia vizuri, lakini ulipofika hapo kwa allocation, nimeangalia allocation ya FGM, sijaona amount, nikavunjika moyo. Kwa sababu chair, SDG number 5 inatuambia tukomeshe ukeketaji ikuwe 0 by 2030. It's 5 years. Na saa hii kwa budget tumeonyesha 0 na ni 5 years. Tuko naye tukomeshe ukeketaji. Na wacha pia niseme pesa ya dona imeshrink. Na imeshrink mahali ambapo community wameanza kusikiliza. Tumeweka sheria, tumepinga ukeketaji, na saa ile tu community wenye wameshika mila wamekaa chini ya miti wanasema hebu tusikize hii kitu serikali inasema. Tunasikia pesa ya dona imeisha. Na miaka imebaki ni 5. Nimekuja hapa, nimesafiri kwa sababu nilitaka kuja kuzungumza kwa niaba ya hizo jamii. Tafadhali tupatie shirika hii anti-FGM board not less than 500 million. Please. Because the community is ready for the conversation. Mara mingi tumeenda kwa ground, tunaambiwa mbona mlikuja, mumezungumza, mukapotea. So within these 5 years, na mimi ningependa sana chair, nitakuwa nakuja kwa hii miaka 5, mimi nizungumze na wewe kwa sababu mimi naenda kule kwa ground mbali. Mimi nazungumza na wazee. Na ninataka nikisema serikali inapinga, najua imeweka pesa kiasi gani, na ili tuweze kuongeza hii conversation, kwa sababu wacha nikwambie community iko tayari. Na FGM inaacha life complications kwa maisha ya msichana, inakata dreams, madaktari tunapoteza, engineers. Kwa hivyo tunapo allocate pesa kwa mambo ya kupinga ukeketaji, tunaokoa future generation. Tafadhali sisi kama jamii ambayo tuna practice, tumejitoa kipaumbele, tuko kwa ground, tunazungumza na wenye mila, lakini bila facilitation hatuwezi. Tafadhali patia anti-FGM board not less than 500 million, na next year sema leteni Parsanga aniambie amezungumza na wazee kiasi gani, ndio sasa kwa record utaonyesha next year. Mimi nitakupatia statistics na nitakuambia progress ambayo ni very pleasing kutoka kwa hizi jamii, ili 2030 tukue tumegonga 0 at least for some communities. Hata kama hatujagonga kwa zote, tuwe tunaweza show something.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to the next row as we go down. There's a lady here. Yes, next to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Chair and PS Mwadime, for your presentation. That was very informative. I'll speak to objective number 15, that is child protection and family support.
Please give us your name and the organization you're representing first before you give your question.
I'm Grace Mwangi, Lumos Country Director. Grace Mwangi, Lumos Country Director, and sorry for that. So I'm going to speak into objective number 15, and very concerned that there is reduction of money, and we are envisioning to transition or integrate 50,000 children. The amount allocated, looking at it, it was 3.8 million. Chair, that is very, 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 very little. And in line with MTP4, the government of Kenya already committed to allocate 600 million to implement the National Care Reform Strategy, which is between 2022 to 2032. The government also went further to commit to transition 70% children living in the institutions of care, which are 44,070 children are currently living in the institutions of Kenya. So across 902 institutions, looking at the statistics of children living outside family care, it is over 44,000. Think about children that needs to be prevented from separated. It is millions of children. Look at the percentage of the population of children in Kenya. It is 21 plus million. So, Chair, I'm here to speak for the children, guided by Section 67 of the Children's Act. 3 and 4, it's very clear that unless, and I'll read it, it says, unless they are comparing circumstances, a child shall not be placed in a charitable children institutions for a period exceeding 3 years. Number 4, it talks about a child below the age of 3 years shall not be placed in alternative care institution unless they are comparing circumstances. Chair, I want to bring to your attention, 50% of children living in the institutions of care, and that is 44,000 plus, they are more than 3 years. Some of them even 17 years. Wamefugwa kifugo bila appeal. It is very concerning. So if we give them 3.8 million, what are we going to do? It will be very difficult. And so today, I'm here to plead for the child that has been separated from their families. Kindly consider giving 100 million. That's just a small portion of what the government of Kenya committed in MTP4, 600 million. That is my prayer and my request to you.
Thank you, Madam Grace. Let's move to the next, the row below the one we have just passed. There's Mzee there who had stood. Mzee, the first, yes. I saw his, oh, you're not ready. Give the person who is ready.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you for highlighting that. I'm very happy to hear that at least there is gender mainstreaming.
Please give us your name and your organization, and then you can go to the question.
My name is Emily Nanyu. I'm from Narok County. I represent people with disability network. Yeah, I'm just happy that you have mentioned about mainstreaming PWD issues into various sectors. But considering the number of people you have already trained on gender issues, 64,000, and the other 99 you are planning to train, and yet I am here to, as a Kenyan, to realize that in all sectors, PWD issues must be mainstream. Disability issues must be mainstream in all the sectors. I feel that that number is small. So you need at least to allocate some money to increase so that at least PWD issues are mainstream in all the sectors. And then I'm also having a concern that you have also said that you are fighting GBV. For me to realize that you are really fighting for GBV, you know, for a PWD not accessing SRH services is already a violence of the highest order itself. So I feel like as a ministry, please allocate some money that you ensure that these services are there for PWD, let them access, because I cannot imagine a PWD woman delivering on the floor just because there are no beds that are accessible to them to deliver. Lastly, I'm also questioning on the training of skills for the youth, whom you are saying you are really building their capacity towards the job market. How many of the PWDs youth are there to be trained? You know, normally they get lost inside youth or women. We don't know how much. But unless you tell us the numbers that you are training PWD, and also you tell us how accessible is this training to them. Because I believe sometimes when you see like, tendering with the government, the AGBO and the AGBO opportunities outside there, some are mostly online. And I believe that a PWD who is really blind cannot access. So please revisit on that and allocate money so that we may all realize gender equality.
Thank you. Thank you. We will go to the next, that side as we go up, so that we give equal opportunity, starting with Mzee. Your name, your organization, and then let's restrict to 2 questions and also within 1 second.
Asante sana. My name ni Nicholas Domokwang, member of Senior Citizens Welfare Association of Retired Persons Professional Group in West Pokot County. Na ilianza mwaka wa 2000 mpaka leo serving older person. Mimi ko hapa nilikata tamaa saa ile mimi naitiwa, mimi najaribu kuinua mkono, hakuna mtu napatia mimi. So ile kitu ambayo ingekuja pamoja, ile ingekuwa yenu, mimi napeana yote safari moja ambayo itakuja kwa nyinyi. One of them ni kwamba mimi ni program hapa naongea. Mimi naomba kwamba tafadhali tupatie grants kama vile ya mbele for our activities kama senior citizens. Kabla ya 2010 tulikuwa napewa grants kutoka social services kwenda kwa activities. Activity moja ni ile ya tarehe 1 mwezi wa 10, International Day for Older Persons. Nilipeana juzi kabla ya tarehe 1, nikampa yule social services officer wa Kapenguria nao, na nikaomba kwamba ifikie nyinyi mtupatie. Bado kufika mpaka leo hiyo tarehe imepita, na tuko na mpango ingine ya kuchenga nyumba ya wazee ambao nataka 3 million. Tununue eka ngapi? Note that. Tununue eka 2, moja ya recreational, ingine ni yao wenyewe pamoja na hospitali yao pale. Tumechora kila kitu. Bwana Mwadime, bado jua wewe sana, soma kwa kaseti, lakini kesho nitakuja pale tukutane, alafu tupange hiyo kitu. Pongezi sana department ya social services.
Asante
kwa
sana.
Ile kasi.
Asante sana mzee.
Ngoja tu nimalize. Haiwezi kumalizika, ngoja kidogo. Alafu
au malize na swali la mwisho.
Ngoja kidogo. Mambo ya FGM sisi ndio sensitization group katika West Pokot County, na tunafanya na World Vision, maendeleo ya wanawake organization. So mingi sitaki tena ipate nini, wengine itakuwa jump. So kubali siku gani mimi nakuja.
Tutakuja.
Mimi nataka yeye nasema siku gani mimi nakuja, natosha.
Bwana Kitua, tafadhali hiyo swali ya Bwana Kitua ongea siku ile atakuja, lakini kujibu swali atajibu baadaye. Let's move to the next row. Only one person, because we are many, allow, okay.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Nelly Chepkemoi. I lead policy and advocacy at We Care Youth Organization. I stand to speak matters youth. So looking at the target, as the PS Mwadime presented, you're targeting to train 22,000 youths online. The projected population is 16.9 million. So I really wonder, what is the cost you're putting to these youths, and what is the target per constituency? Because if you're talking of 22,000, if I look at the sector report for your previous financial year, you only target in Kabete. So what is left for the other regions? We are recommending to you, as you plan to target these 22,000 youths, please increase this target number to all the 8 regions. At least if you're going to cover Kabete, include other regions in Kenya. I'm talking of 8 regions, not the counties. Secondly, I want to speak on gender. Just one issue on the gender. We recognize that it is an emerging trend of femicide, but the sector plans on establishing 3 centers only. Why? Why are we leaving all the other counties? This is an issue that is an emerging issue, but we are seeing a reduction, because if you're reducing, or rather if you're targeting only 3 centers in all the 47 counties, then we are also going to see a reduction in the amount you're going to put up to it. So we are requesting for more centers that will have a budget implication of an increase in the budget as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and let's move up. We will come down for anybody we have left. For this round, let's move to the next row, please. Up, same, along this, is it column, how do I call it? Up. Please. And then when we finalize there, we will have responses to the questions, and then we shall proceed to the next questions. Please.
Thank you. My name is James Kasaya from Mwala Sub-County. I'm coming from a group known as Mwala Social Accountability Group. Na niko na maoni. Kwanza nashukuru kwa yale yote mmetupatia. Sisi tumetumwa na community from the grassroots. Bwana Chair, maofisi za watoto at sub-county level, they are very broke. We have so many cases in the community as pertains child protection. And these officers are not facilitated well to monitor and coordinate child protection issues in the community. I am a CPF. I'm not facilitated. I've done my duty, volunteering for over 3 years. And my proposal is that you facilitate the sub-county child protection officers at least directly 4.5 billion, so that they can handle the child protection issues from the grassroots without any problem. Because we have been having a lot of problems at the grassroots. So many cases, we are losing so many cases of child protection because of lack of facilitation and coordination. And again, there are those students who are under presidential bursary, and of late, they are receiving only 9,000, and they are in boarding schools. The community is crying for the government to do something and at least add the budget so that these children can finish their education, because the government has committed to pay their school fees all the way to Form 4. But a lot of the children are out of school now because the only fee they can get per year is 9,800. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's move up. There's a lady who has raised her hand there. Then after that, I will request the teams to start getting ready for the answers.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Carol Jebet. I come from Baringo County. I work with Collaborative Center for Gender and Development, and I'm here also representing the Rift Valley Budget Hub. So from the presentation, we realized that the government has trained 11,485 psychosocial and counseling support officers to handle gender-based violence. I'm very interested to know where they are, because in our activities in prevention and response to gender-based violence, we really struggle and end up working with private counselors to support the GBV survivors. I also want to echo the establishment of 3 safe houses across the country. Where are they intended to be, and how accessible will they be? Because the inaccessibility will promote will also continue to promote the injustice or access to justice for the GBV survivors. With the rising prevalence of gender-based violence, FGM, and mental health, there needs to be accessibility to these GBV services. Also, my last question is, how is the sector leveraging to partner with other sectors like the State Department for Justice and other sagas like the NGEC in promoting gender equality and justice for the vulnerable, especially that this sector is very vulnerable and vulnerable to the fiscal, in fiscal space, bearing in mind the fiscal space shrinking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like the teams that are representing the various PSS to just handle all the questions. So if you are representing gender, you will answer all the questions. If you are representing youth, you will answer all the questions relating to youth. And if you are representing social protection and senior citizens, there was a question, you'll handle all the questions. And then last, we will have State Department for Children, one of the representatives, they are also answering the questions. So let's start with the gender. I think most of the questions are touching on GBVs, safe houses, and so I would like to give the person representing PS for Gender and Affairs and Affirmative Action to respond. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you so much, Madam PS. I wish to take this opportunity on behalf of our PS. The first question touches on budget, and therefore I will request our CFO, Mr. Seifo Nombachi, please to kindly respond on that.
Thank you. I think the first question was on the Anti-Female Genital Mutilation Board, which is true that I think the issue was about the allocation of budget. In the proposal for the Anti-FGM Board, there was a request of around 1 billion shillings, whereby they had required some around 400 million to fight with FGM and eradicate it within between now and 2030, but that one was not funded. Then there was also a request for a review of the Anti-FGM Act 2011 of around 300 million, but that one was also not funded. However, there is some funding. It's not zero funding, as the person who was asking the question raised. The Anti-FGM Board has been allocated in the next financial year 201 million shillings, of which 110 is under the better allocation, that is the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. However, that is still low, so we are still requesting for additional funding. And then I think there was an issue on the GBV centers. The three that have been mentioned there are those ones which at least we've got an allocation, but of course we'd wish to do more centers and in all counties if possible. But the three are those ones which have been allocated some resources, which are, one is in Kisumu, in a place called Kajulu. There is another one in Bura, that is in Taita Taveta. And then there is another one at Kwale County. Those are the three that we have mentioned, and we mentioned them simply because there is an allocation for them in this budget cycle. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's what I can say about the budget.
Thank you. Let's have Nicholas Kitua responding to matters of social protection and senior citizens.
Thank you very much, Madam PS. Thank you very much, participants and the members. Thank you very much those who raised the questions concerning social protection. And there were two questions which were raised concerning social protection. One was raised by Emily from Narok on the issue of disability mainstreaming, and the other one was raised by Nicholas from West Pokot on the issue of older persons and the issue of participation. Starting with the issue of disability mainstreaming, I want to say that the government has been very much concerned with the issues to do with disability mainstreaming, and it has done amendments of disability law. And now we have the Person with Disabilities Act of 2025, and this has seen a lot of issues being changed, and this issue of mainstreaming has been given a lot of attention, and that's why programs like autism and albinism has even seen an increment in their budget. That's also why we have the National Council of Persons with Disability also being enhanced to implement such programs. For Nicholas from West Pokot, on the issue of participation in international and national activities, which used to happen sometimes back, and you have said that it has not been happening now. I want to say that the government has been quite concerned about that, and they have also come up with an act, a law, on the Community Group and Registration Act, which has recognized that, and we have in the process of trying now to implement those activities. And as we move forward, you will see a lot of change. On the issue of procurement of land for the older persons' homes, actually it is a very big concern for the government on the issue of older persons. The chair, P.S. Mandime, kept on talking about NGSIM and engine, and all of us, we are moving there. There's a very big concern. You talked about the issue of procurement of the land. I want to say that's a very good recommendation, and I request after this meeting, we meet, we discuss, and we will be able to accommodate that request. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's move to State Department for Labor and Socials, Labor and Skills Development. There was a question on online training.
Thank you, PS Children's Services. I think this was a question that was raised by Chep Kemoy concerning the figures you have given it here, 22,000. I'm excited that you are raising that issue. I'm really, really happy. because we have so many hubs that have been established at the grassroots level, TVETs in particular, where young people can access computers for free and even Wi-Fi, internet, for free. But the biggest challenge is the turn-up, for whatever reason. And I can say this with confidence, even with reference to one particular TVET that I visited. And they said they have encouraged as many young people as possible to access free computers and free online services, but somehow they shy away. Now, the object of us training these young people on online, access to online jobs, but also building their capacities to establish enterprises, is because as they come up with, businesses like cyber cafes, they will be able to employ even more young people. So you're building their capacity, on how they can be able to access not only services that are there online, but also establishing their own businesses. The other object, of course, is for them to get the digital jobs that are available online, It could be a job, as I mentioned earlier on, that is available in US or in Canada or in any other country that you can undertake and earn a lot from it. We are limited in terms of the numbers because of the funding. There is nothing much we can do because those who are unable to access free internet, we give them some money. We actually give them about 10,000 shillings, as credit for them to access internet for the entire period that they undertake the training. And then we also pay the trainers. We do it in collaboration with Safaricom so that someone can work with them. It's not only a question of imparting the skill, but also working with them until they take off, so that they actually establish either a cyber cafe or alternatively access the jobs. Because our aim is to empower them economically, financially. So we are limited because we only get about 10 million shillings, per year. Not only for the trainers, but also for the students. If you do your calculation, that is a lot of money that we can't afford as with reference to that which we allocated in our budget. So then we have to be very realistic in terms of the target that we set. But I totally agree with you concerning the 1.6 million that you have mentioned. If there is any way these young people can also take the initiative of accessing free Wi-Fi, we can register them, because then they will not be limited in terms of buying, credit for their phones, for their smartphones. Yeah. So assist me, since you are an advocate for youth, assist me wherever we have established those hubs. Push as many young people as possible to get enrolled, so that it will be only a question of us paying the facilitators and we reach out to a bigger number. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I go to answering matters on children, I would like to give the representative for Youth and Creative Economy, PS, to answer the questions which were related to youth.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alfred Muhindi, representing the PS Youth Affairs. I'm going to handle two questions that have been raised by the plenary. One of them is about the target of 22,000 against a population of 17 million youths. Yes, the target is low as compared to the population of the youth. However, this target was set after confirming how much money we have been allocated. We are engaging the National Treasury so that we can have more allocation and cover more youth. The second part of the question was, how the spread of the targeted youth. We are not targeting the 8 regions. It's against the 47 counties. The beneficiaries will be distributed across the 47 counties. The second part of the question, the second question was about YEX. The question was about the number of YEX across the country. Where can't we have more? I would like to inform the panelists that we have 156 YEX spread across 155 constituencies. There's a constituency in Korea with the 2 YEX. Out of the 156 YEX across the country, about 58 of them are operational, 98 are facing serious operational challenges. To address this matter, we are constructing 3 new YEX in northern Kenya and in Kwale, and renovating 16 YEX. In the context of next financial year's budget, we have been, it has been proposed that we get 85 million to construct about 4 YEX and renovate 20. However, we are planning to engage the National Treasury so that we can construct more and renovate all the other YEX. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will respond to issues on children. And one of the questions that has been raised is on what are we doing about early marriages, especially in the area of Marakwet, and what are we doing to strengthen community-based child protection? And what are the policy interventions for addressing child protection issues? Thank you very much for that question. I want to say that State Department of Children Services is aware of the abuse that goes on among children, and about 50% of children in Kenya have suffered some form of abuse before they reach the age of 18. And early marriage is one of the threats that children do face, especially in some communities where FGM prevalence is very high. And to address this, the nation has put in place the National Children Policy 2015 to protect children against any form of abuse. And what we are doing is to enhance community awareness through the champions to ensure the community is aware about the dangers of such practices like FGM that expose children to early marriages. So we have programs in place to be able to address that. I also want to say that because of the violence that children go through, Kenya has, through the global approach, has committed, we call it Bogota 2024 commitment. We have made a global commitment to end violence against children. And one of the ways we have planned through programs is to sensitize at least 100,000 teachers in schools to enhance child protection in schools. So we are working closely with the Teacher Service Commission to be able to address this, and also working with partners to be able to deliver on this. I also want to say that we are also pushing for increased workforce in the social sector, which is the children officers. And what we have done is to come up with an investment case on a reason why we should invest and employ more children officers up to the grassroots level. This report has been presented to the members of parliament, the members of the budget committee, and we are pushing for additional funding to ensure we have increased number of children officers at the grassroots level. And the chair of this sector will confirm that just slightly a day before yesterday, we had our sector meeting and this was presented, and the chair appreciated the need for increased funding in the social sector as a whole to be able to address these challenges that children are facing. Therefore, I want to assure the public that those you are seeing here are already fronting for additional funding for the social sector, which will also come to the children. And I want to answer the question that one of the members asked about transitioning children. Why have we not allocated 600 million as provided for in the MTP4? And the member requested that at least we should consider 100 million. So I want to agree with this member of the public that already we have a strategy to transition children. By 2030, almost all the children in the institutions. And to be able to address this, we need additional funding. So what the chair presented today showed that there's a huge gap between the resources that the social sector was given against what we require. And so we want to take your voice seriously, and a representative of the National Treasury is here listening that there is need to allocate the funds as provided for in the MTP4. And so I want to agree with that member that we need to allocate the funds. However, we are already implementing the care reform strategy for 2022-2032, focusing on family reforms, strengthening families to be able to live with their children and prevent separation of children from their families. And so all the questions that the members raised here are on child protection and the issue of limited resources. So, Bwana Oulo, I hope you have taken note on all child protection issues are touching on limited resources, be it support of the children officer at the ground to be able to respond to children issues. And so this matter needs to be taken seriously by the National Treasury to be able to allocate additional resources for this sector and also for the State Department for Children. Thank you very much. I would like us to continue with the questions, and so we shall move to that side. So there's a lady there in the middle with black who has raised her hand. Yes, please proceed. Then I will go to that side after she has given her question.
Good afternoon. My name is Triza Watetu. I work for some Center for Domestic Training and Development. My question is on safe houses and GBV. We appreciate that you want to put up safe houses, but we are also concerned that we have not seen any fund for survivors, and we have been pushing and would want to see a trust fund for survivors, because we know even as you bring them to shelters, what happens to them. The other question that I would want to ask is on the dignity kits. Say that you have allocated 7,500 dignity kits. I don't know whether you have the statistics for the number of people that are going through GBV every year, and how you are going to allocate the dignity kits, because this number is very low. when you consider the number of people that are going through GBV, and then there is also the issue of femicide. I don't know, how are we moving forward with the issue of femicide, because we are seeing women dying on a daily basis, and then when we go to the hospitals, we are not able to get those services. How, again, do we ensure that GBV services are free at the hospitals for every survivor? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move to the next, this side. Oh, there's a gentleman there at the back. Allow him to talk.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. My name is Jack Matika. I work with organization known as Koinonia Community, based in Nairobi. We are mostly dealing with supporting the homeless street families. So I'll base my question on street homeless families. So, madam, this is another category that it's found mostly in all the 47 counties. And I think the development in all these countries is that we have increments of street families loitering around the cities. And I want to report to this sitting today that this particular group undergo or face a lot of challenges. We have children that are basically enrolled into drugs as young as 5 years. And many of these children do not celebrate their 15 birthdays. They die at very tender age due to the drugs that they have taken. And this drug basically destroy their lungs, and they die at very early age. What says the government? What has the government put in place to ensure that we zero rate the street families in Kenya? If this is not done, madam, we are going to arrive at a very dangerous stage where we call it a disaster. And for this case, I'm very much I'm asking myself, because I was just going through the readings and I have not seen any allocation basically based for this particular category. That is because I don't want to generalize, talk about the children. I want to talk about the population that is most vulnerable. This is the street family. And every moment we keep questioning a department called Street Family Rehabilitation Trust Fund. We ask, why should a child die on the street? Madam, I want to report to you that a week do not pass before a child from Grogon, before a child from Mudhurwa is taken to a mortuary, that is city mortuary. A child found dead, and that is a street child. So please, I call upon the State Department kindly to pay attention on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move to that side, I have a request from children, and they have said, as children in the room, we would like to speak and give our memo, because we need to go home and it is getting dark. Therefore, kindly allow me to allow the children representative to come forward. And so, do you want to speak up here or where you are? Yes. Representative of the children, please take the mic and let's listen to these young ones.
Hello guys, my name is Benson Victor Zachary. We know more children cannot be here because they are from all over the continent. However, the digital space has enabled us to still connect. Yesterday on World Children's Day, Mtoto News organized a webinar where children were able to speak about what they would like to happen on what we are talking about. So, and these were some of their voices. The first one, we had an issue on parent imprisonment. We have a situation whereby some parents are imprisoned while they still have children. Example, Langata Women's Prison and other prisons. And they have to move with their kids. And the kids are there until I think they are 4 years. And these kids don't have better facilities. And this one really damages their future. Because even if you see them go to courts, they go hugging men like father figures because they don't even have men around or something. So a recommendation was maybe introduction of home jail or more funding should be done to facilitate children in jail because of their parents' doing. Second one, we have drug and substance abuse. So we also had an issue, and we had a recommendation that proper awareness should be created among members to minimize early exposure. This one appears mostly in areas like the rural areas like Kibera. We have seriously early exposure. You'll hear a child telling you, I saw someone doing this at the balcony, and the person was obviously maybe smoking bang. So maybe funding should be done to ensure that the members also of the public have clear understanding that these things hazifai kuwa zinaexposiwa kwa watoto, si ndio? Yeah, we also had number 3, parental abuse. This one is sexually, emotionally, and physically. So we should reduce handling of cases communally, since sometimes the parent abuse the children, and these cases zinahandoliwa communally, like within the community. Aziendi mbele, these parents are not taken to court, justice is not done, and it keeps repeating and repeating itself and itself again and again. So number 4, we have losing parents. We also had an issue where it was raised. Some kids tend to lose their parents, especially let's say when they are giving birth, or even their fathers. And these are the kids that sometimes even end up being street kids. So we should create a follow-up program. Let's say when the kid is given birth to, maybe the mom dies, to follow up on the child. Sindio, si mtoto tu ameshapeanwa mahali, we don't follow up and end up kuwa street kid. Proper education on the internet should have been done. And this one runs to the child-focused organizations. They have been experiencing cuts of funds and donations of lately. And this one really disturbs how education on such things happens. Yeah. So we also have anxiety and depression. I think we should ensure presence of guidance and counseling points, better especially in schools and at all levels. We also had an issue on affirmative action and gender. So we should have more sanitary towels for our sisters, and as much as we also have it for our sisters, we should also support the boy child too, so that we have a proper development of a better community in the future. Not a situation whereby the girl child is empowered, she's studied, and then the boy is not studied. So the boy ends up going to be the one who steals from the lady who has studied. And we also have a memorandum, which we'll give it to you after I give.
Hi everyone. Hello. So please allow me to, just a minute. Yes, please allow me to go down here. And as I come here, I want to request my fellow children to accompany me to come down here, because after that, we're going to request the entire sector team to come and receive the memorandum on behalf of the children. So as they come, I just want to mention these memorandums are voices across Kenya. During the just concluded International Conference on Child Protection, children gave their priorities on budgeting, on what they want. And on Tuesday, we also gathered the child representatives within Nairobi to come to participate in this public hearing. And as well, yesterday we had a big webinar, and we were able to refine more and chip into what we want. So just as my fellow children are coming, allow me to mention something that's very critical. The social sector is a sector that is non-negotiable. There is no way we can compromise this sector, because this is the sector that deals directly with us children, especially the most vulnerable children, Tandle children with, with the children in children homes, rehabilitation schools mentioned. So this is a sector that needs to be funded well. Personally, and I believe I speak on behalf of my fellow children, I feel like even the requirements you guys made, the government made, the State Department even for Children's Services, it's not even enough to our issues. Because when we start unpacking all those issues, rationale, it doesn't add up to the funds. So we request the government to please take responsibility, because we all know at this moment that the child-focused organizations are now facing donor and funding cuts. Most of the children programs were supported by development partners. What's going to happen next? I hope Treasury is listening. What's going to happen next? We need the government to step in, you see, and take full responsibility to fund these programs. You see, they are facing donor and funding cuts. That means they are shrinking in terms even of human resource, and even they have to shut some of their programs. So we need the government to step in and pick the responsibility and fund them, allocate enough resources for this. Mentioning on the Children Welfare Fund, we've been waiting for years, you see, since 2022, when the Children's Act was passed by Parliament. We've been waiting for the Children Welfare Fund. We plead to the government, those who are concerned, please allocate resources for the Children Welfare Fund. This fund will be used to take care, empower, and look after the vulnerable children. It is clearly stated in the Children's Act. So we need the government to fund enough children programs. Lastly, I want to mention on the cash transfers. Honestly, I think I forgot to mention that first, thank you for the government for allocating 12 billion to our State Department. But most of this money was used on cash transfers, nearly, I think, 9 billion, if I'm not wrong. So around 3 to 4 billion was used now for the, to take care of the children's services. So we need more funding, you see, because most of the funds that are allocated go to the cash transfers, which is also good. And these cash transfers mostly need to aim the vulnerable children. I hope someone is listening and taking notes. These are very critical because all these children wanted to speak. And if we start speaking, time will go. Lastly, and most importantly, we really thank the entire government for giving us a State Department for Children's Services. That was a big win, a very big win. Last year we were here. I'm among the participants who came and plead to the government on our issues across every sector. And we want to thank the government so much for giving an attention to children. And they even gave us Ma'am Karen to be our PS. We even have a PS who can help us address our issues. So we really love what the government is doing for us, how they're listening to us, you see. And in that case, as children, we are currently running a child-led initiative to recognize this noble decision the government made under the Executive Order 1 to give us a State Department. We are gonna, before this holiday ends, we are gonna give the Executive Office of the President an award, you see, to give as a token of appreciation, you see. It is out of our own initiative. And we plead that whosoever is concerned, I'm not sure if it's Treasury, I'm not sure if it's the accounting officers, please, this is a matter that is unnegotiable. We cannot compromise the most vulnerable group, which is us children. Thank you so much, and we believe action will be taken. Cynthia? Yes. So we're going to request the entire team to please come and join us as we present the memorandum. Mr. Modime, hi, and your team. Yes.
So all the team members of our sector, please, the children want to present their memorandum, and we are here to receive. Thank you. Thank you, children. We will look into this memorandum because as the leadership, we believe that the children are our future. And so we take your views seriously, and the chair is here. We are going to deliberate on it together with the National Treasury. Thank you. Okay, who was handling this? So as the chair is signing the memorandum, the children have ensured that their copy is signed by the chair as a commitment that the government will look into their views. I want us to proceed with the questions, and because of time, we will go to this side. Okay, I'm told there's somebody there.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Protocols observed. I want to congratulate the government for actually doing the necessary thing. And we had several things to present. We are MMV Associate CLG. We are a team coming from all over Kenya, and I will ask them just in the same note to just extend here as I'm presenting. I will not go to the social protection because it has been exhaustively dealt with. I'm going to handle the part of culture. And you see these veterans, you can just come along. They have come from all over the country to just request the National Treasury to put enough funding in these departments, because culture is very important. It provides a sense of identity and belonging. It connects people through shared values and traditions and enriches society by offering diverse perspective and the ways of life. And if I may just summarize, the key roles of the culture, it shapes identity and belonging. It strengthens community bonds. It preserves and transmits knowledge, promotes understanding and dialogue, and adds richness and meaning to life. So we really request the National Treasury to take that into account and to put more allocation in this department. And we have the memorandum that we will submit after. You can just bring along. You can just come.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm Andrew Wafula from Trans Nzoia, Kitale. Tuna represent MMV, Associate CLG. Kwa ufupi tu ni kwamba Bwana PS and Jea kwa ajili ya children post-colonial elites, culture hao ndio walikuwa wenyewe. Kabla msungu alipoingia katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, alipata wazazi wetu, babu zetu wakiwa katika mazingira mazuri, wakiwa wanaishi vizuri, na culture yao ilikuwa inatumishwa vizuri. Wakawafukuza, wakatoka katika mashamba yao na area yao, wengi waliaga dunia. Kwa hivyo wenye mumeona hawa ambao wamesimama mali hapa ni watoto wa watoto waliopigania uhuru. Kwa hiyo, kwa ufupi, kwa sababu muda uliopewa na Majoina pale Matam umefika, ninasema hivi. Sijaona vile PS alivyosoma nini yake akataja lolote kuhusu kwa conversation yoyote kuhusu hao watoto wa watoto waliopigania uhuru ambao culture ya mazingira yao iliharibika. Hakuna jambo lote limetajwa mahali pale. Kwa hivyo kumbuka, hii ni Kenya nzima, hatuna nafasi ya introduction. Wanatoka kaunti zote 47 na nyuma yao kuna watu wengi mno. Kindly ministry, can you compensate the children kwa wale waliopigania uhuru wakawaja? Wengi hawakusoma. Kama ingelikuwa wakati huu, Bwana PS Chair, pia kungekuwa na home, kungekuwa na orphanage ambao watoto wangekuwa na wangelikuwa wanaangaliwa. Lakini kwa wakati huu, kwa wakati ule mpaka tufikie sisi, hakukuwa na lolote. Wametaabika, wamesumbuka, wengine wako kwa streets. Wale watoto wenye mnasikia wengine wakitaja ni baadhi ya watoto wao, maana hawana lolote. Tafadhali angalia memo vizuri ambayo tunairepresent mbele yako, na pia mkumbuke kwa ajili ya historical justice kwa mambo ya compensation. Thank you very much kwa ajili ya wakati.
Thank you, thank you. We want to... Oh, you would like to present, you can present to us. The chair has...
Amechoka.
We come down.
Yes, just come down.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tuwapigie makofi anapokuja kweli. Karibu sana. Thank you. Very good. Tunakuombea usidi kuishi maisha mazuri. Mungu akuongezee neema. Mungu akumbuke watoto wako, akuse kazi ya mikono yako. Pia nao uwakilishe hii MMV Associates kwa ajili ya wao. Thank you very much. Be blessed. Picha tafadhali. Yeah. Muto tupikie picha tafadhali. Yeah. Yes. Ni hawa wote. Yes, sisi wote. Thank you. Karibu. Yeah. Thank you. This is very important, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, and we have listened to your memorandum. We will look into it. Asanteni.
Yes.
So we will look at one group. If you are a member of like the children of the freedom fighters, I want to give this chance to one of the members. We are almost
yes, thank you.
Done. So on that side, I will allow the lady in yellow.
Sorry, madam.
Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, you mentioned a representative group. Madam.
I will proceed in just a few minutes. My name is, thank you, Chair.
Please, those who are not given a chance to speak, kindly sit down to allow the member who is speaking to present her views.
All right, thank you very much, Chair. My name is Faith Kinyanjui from Budgeti Hub, and we also have representation from some of our partners from the counties, also referred to as regional budget hubs. Quickly, first, I would like to acknowledge the good performance that the sector has been doing in terms of budget absorption. Like I said, we work on public finance matters. I think the sector has been doing quite well in terms of absorption, and that is already good grounds for seeking for increased allocation, averaging from an upwards of 90 to 95%. Even then, just a closer look at the non-financial side of it, you realize that the cash transfer program, or the program targeting the elderly, has been doing quite well looking at the previous most completed financial year, where the beneficiaries who are being targeted, there was an exceeding of the target by about 6%, which is a great thing. But on the flip side, when you look at the programs targeting the orphans and vulnerable children, and this might interest you, PS, is that there was an underperformance where the target was not met by 8% for the orphans and vulnerable children who are being targeted. So there is a concern there in terms of why that target is not being met, which the elderly one is being met, so that is a good thing. It means something is working well there. What can we do to improve the orphans and vulnerable targeting side of it? Second is one that I noticed with regard to the sanitary towels program. The target of 11.1 million, which is great, but I noticed with concern that the target for the 2024-25 financial year, which was 2.4 million, with an allocation of about 940 million, was not met at all. Targeted 2.4 million, so I don't know what challenges were happening in terms of the system, because if you're saying we are targeting 11.1 and the last completed financial year we did not even meet any of the 2.4 million, we are targeting 2.5 million this current financial year. So what is being done differently in this year, but also looking forward to 2026-27? In terms of the women empowerment programs, I noticed the affirmative action groups funds that have gone towards that, and also the women economic empowerment, the funds, it's close to 6.45 billion. I am curious about the impact of these programs, because you're spending a lot of money, which is a good thing in terms of empowering these groups and women, but I think it's high time we start asking questions on the impact side of it, so that we can even make a better case for these programs, especially now that we have the women economic empowerment policy. Finally, the burden of care. And I raise this with regard to the health sector, which we can argue that it falls in the health sector. When you see the burden of non-communicable diseases, and some of the people who are most affected are our parents, and there's a burden of caregiving that falls either on other members of the family. You are not at work, you either have to miss work or leave work completely to take care of them. On the other side, we can have the health sector trying to, empower community health promoters to be able to offer better care services in terms of their mandate. But what are we doing about the caregivers, the young men, young women, or even the elderly who are tasked with taking care of those people who are suffering from these diseases? There is a recommendation from us to consider cash for care programs. This is being implemented in other countries. We can argue that they're a bit faster than the OECD countries, but that's something that we can consider in terms of subsidizing the caregivers who are taking care of people who are suffering from NCDs. I know there are always cross-sectoral linkages. The sector report speaks to this, so this is perhaps something that the sector can consider working together with the health sector. Finally, in February,
the questions,
just one.
Thank you. The questions are supposed to be two to allow others to ask.
One sentence. Last year, the National Treasury was required to provide a gender budget statement. What is the progress with that, and how is the State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action following up on that? Thank you.
I want us to move to this last side because they have not spoken.
Hello, Chair, through the chair. Through the chair. Down here, please.
Because we are wondering, whoever has been given the mic, we have not authorized. Where is the person talking? I asked that we give chance first to those who are seated this side. Please come this side.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am relieved and saying thank you for this sector. My name's Wabogo Ugethaiga. I am I am the Secretary General, Mau Mau Governing Council of Kenya, an umbrella body organization that is concerned with the issues related to the dependents, even the families, even posterity. Here we are. The sector has done a wonderful, commendable job. Much as you have done your job, first, I would want to say thank you. But before I continue saying thank you, we are appreciating the National Heroes Council and the government for operationalizing that Act 2014. Here we are. We have not been able to sensitize on that act and the gains that we have made. The gains that we have made is that that act now is operational. We have got the National Heroes Council of Kenya here in the ministry. And now it has got a board member. What am I saying now? With the act we are missing and we are lobbying. It's good for everybody to hear this. The government has given us now the Heroes Act, and even what they have done, they have given a data of more heroes to be recognized. It's true. The Heroes Act is talking about a Heroes Fund, a fund that would help us achieve key areas of intervention, even on big supplements to what the government is doing. And we believe we have the capacity. We are not here now as a council coming to complain about the funding. We are coming up now with a solution. Give us a Heroes Fund, and then you say you don't have funding. Then from the Heroes Fund, and from the civil society sector, and the networks that we are having, and the outreach that we are having, we only need the government's goodwill to reach out there. On the conventional donor agencies, we have BRICS, and the BRICS is giving alternative of what we have been using, what we have been missing. Now, with this area and film, documentary, and even on data, I would want to say, may we, Mau Mau Governing Council of Kenya, partner with the government, come up with a data map, come up with even that research, and share data that we have for the purpose of even creating job opportunities.
Thank you.
And finally,
thank you.
Finally, Madam Chair, this one on the issues of compensations and reparations. I'm appealing to the EU and the Attorney General and other key players to come up with a mechanism. We meet the President. Some of those issues you cannot, and this forum cannot. May you task with any of you to reach out to the President and come up with mechanisms of even compensation, reparation, and outreach of African Union for a better
Thank you.
agenda.
Thank you. Allow me to give the gentleman there to give his comments, and then.
Okay, yes, madam. My name is Davis Simiu. I come from Bungoma County, and I have the following to make before this congregation. You've talked all concerning culture, social protection, and whatever. And I wanted to ask you why you have not featured in emerging issues like transgender, third sex, or intersex persons. What have you included or what have you done about these people in the social protection? Because I've not seen you mentioning them. Number two, the stipend allowances that are given to all senior citizens in this country is 2,000 shillings per month. And sometimes they stay long and then they give in as a lump sum. Now, when you look at the life expectancy of a grown-up person in Kenya is 68 years. And now you say that this stipend allowance should be given to a person who has got 70 years and above. Why can't you amend your regulations so that the senior citizens of the Republic of Kenya can start from the age when a public servant retires at 60, a senior citizen now starts at 60, he has to be given money. These are some of the things I wanted to tell you.
Thank you.
Number two, lastly, we have
Those are two questions.
an issue concerning artificial intelligence, madam. And this is also an emerging issue of which I also wanted you, whether you have included your artificial intelligence issues, communication and all that in this system. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. So I want to come back to the last, there's a gentleman behind you. Please give him a chance. And then I will come back this side, one person. And then we shall go to the answers.
Thank you so much. I'm Jacob Nambuki Ngume. I come from an NGO called Young Professionals for Development. I have two comments. One is about the employment in Kenya. The National Employment Authority has not been given adequate funds to employ Kenyans. We have 3 million Kenyans who are unemployed, the youth who leave universities every year. And the NEA has not done a lot. So there is a great disconnect between the Minister of Education and the Department of Labor. The universities are churning out, colleges are churning out students out to the market for labor, but the labor market is very little. So we want an allocation funding in this budget financial year, at least for the 3 million who are unemployed, at least 2.5 million to be supported to get jobs, whether in Kenya or abroad. Number two is about, in Kenya we have been facing a lot of teenage pregnancy, which is a lot and rampant. We request for financial support or a program specifically for them, not under the OPC program, a separate program for the teenage pregnancies so that they can be funded throughout their life, whether in education and welfare and all that, that can cover that. And the last one is about the heroes in Kenya. They'll be given awards. They're normally given awards every financial year. But what happens? They're not given funds. There should be a financial allocation support to the awards which are given so that they can also survive in these financial economies which are very bad.
Thank you. I would like us to be inclusive. In this forum, we have not given chance to a person with disability, and therefore, on my right, I would like to give a chance to the gentleman, and I hope there will be somebody translating for us to be able
down
to
here. Yes,
hear.
yes.
Thank
through
you.
the chair. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and the time. My name is Habel Ouma. I'm from Kakamega County, and I'm representing the Lake region together with a team from Nairobi and Central and Northeastern part of Kenya. We have a memorandum that we've prepared that we wanted to submit to you as persons with disabilities. And also at the same time, we have made recommendations as well and our proposals about the cash transfers. We are saying that it should be raised from 2,000 to 4,000 because 2,000 and with the inflation rates right now, it's not enough for persons with disability to meet their basic needs. So that's one of the issues that we are raising with the recommendations and the proposals about the cash transfers. The second one, we want updated and current data of persons with disabilities because what we have currently is very hard for effective planning for us. So we are requesting you through your department that you can allocate more funds for us to get this current data. And the last one is right now we have the Persons of Disabilities Act 2025 that was assented into law by the President earlier this year. And we need a budget allocation for this act to be implemented and people to be aware and so that we can improve the lives of persons with disability. So could you possibly, because I said this is a representation from the team with persons with disabilities, we have the deaf, we have the physical disabilities and different people. So could you please with your team come down and also the gender group so that we can present this memo to you. So I will please ask if you could come down so that we can present because persons with disabilities who are physical disabled cannot come up the
Thank you.
stairs.
Thank you, Abel. And let's receive the memorandum from the team. So as we conclude, I would like to request any group that has any memorandum. Any group? Any group? Yes, I can see there is one gentleman there. Let's give him a chance. There is the gentleman at the front, written reserved. Yes, yes. If you are in any group and you have memorandum, this is the last chance we are giving, and then we'll have the answers.
Thank you, Madam PS. My name is Alex Karaoke from World Vision Kenya. On the interest of time, I will not read the whole memorandum, but I wanted just to mention that I'm submitting on behalf of civil societies that met and came up with recommendations and issues they would want to see addressed. And therefore, Madam PS, if you allow me, I will table the memorandum on the interest of time, and then I'll say I'm done at this point. Thank you.
Are you in a position to summarize the issues? Just
okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Madam PS. Yes, the first issue was on issues of parent sensitization. The target that was given was 500,000 parents were to be sensitized, and this we considered was very low compared to the government commitment of 2 million households that were to be targeted. So we have a recommendation that we need to allocate funds, approximately 1 billion, towards training parents of the National Positive Parenting Program. There is also another issue on the care reform strategy, which my colleague spoke about, and I'm actually not going to repeat that one. The Child Welfare Fund also, we were recommending that Treasury to allocate 4 billion to establish the Child Welfare Fund to support approximately 4.2 million families to safeguard children's rights. There is no budget also for nutritional improvement through cash and health education, the niche, and actually children make up 48.7% of the poor, but only 4.5%. That is approximately 1.1 million children are beneficiaries of the Inua Jamii Social Protection Program. So we had a recommendation that the National Treasury should increase the allocation going towards the Inua Jamii Social Protection Program to reach at least 30% of the children, approximately 3.1 million children, in approximately 894 households. This is approximately 22 billion allocated.
So please summarize, or
that's my last, Madam. Cash transfer for orphans and vulnerable children. Thank you so much. I submit.
Thank you. I would like us to sit down. For those who are walking out, we are finishing up. Please allow us to finish the session and kindly sit. Let us have responses from all the accounting officers. And PS Mwadime will start. The chair has requested that he responds on behalf of all of us, and we kindly accept his request. And Chairman, please proceed.
I'm an administrator, and so I'm conscious when people reach diminishing returns. And I think we are at the tail end as it is now. We need to conclude this session. I want to appreciate all the memos that have been brought to us. And I want to give an undertaking that we will look into every issue that has been raised by the various stakeholders who have attended this session this afternoon. And we will sit with Treasury and see whether there is a possibility of reallocation, if not, a possibility of getting additional resources from the Treasury. So my commitment as the chair of the sector, we will do whatever we can to ensure all the issues that you have raised are addressed comprehensively. Now, let me conclude by saying this. There's an issue that was raised by the gentleman who's seated at the back row, concerning street children and the fact that they are dying in droves, and the need for us to put in place some intervention. You know, scripture says children are like a quiver full of arrows for a soldier who will then be able to gain respect at the gates where elders meet. The truth of the fact is, children are a major resource not only for Kenya but Africa as a whole. It's a blessing that we have a very youthful population. It's a guarantee that even going forward, whether the world will like it or not, the economies in Africa, in the continent, will have to expand because of two reasons. Number one, the clientele. Any businessman will tell you, if you establish a farm and you're producing goods or services, if you don't have a huge base of clienteles, you will not be able to maximize on profits. Customers are available in Africa. But not only that, if we build the capacity of our children, we should be able to exploit the resources that we have. The resource base in Kenya, the resource base in Africa is huge. If we build the capacity of these young people, they will be our frontline soldiers who will be able to exploit the resources we have and expand our economy and improve on our standard of living. Now, this is my plea to each and every one of you who is here present. Kila mmoja wenyu, muko na familia. The family is the foundation of the society. You are married. You are having marital issues, and that is the reason why your children end up growing in an irresponsible environment. I do a lot of counseling, and sometimes I ask young couples, why do you fight? How do you benefit out of those small trivial issues that can be sorted out amicably? Because you're causing trouble to your children. And not only that, even for us as a society, the fact that we are bringing up our young children in a very responsible environment, some of them falling pregnant at a very young age, and throwing these kids to the streets. Each and every one of us has a responsibility of our neighbor's child. It has to begin there if we are to build a solid and sure, foundation for the future generation to come. So this is the social sector, and therefore this is the right place for me to give this plea. Kila mmoja wetu tunaweza kuchangia kuhakikisha kwamba Kenya iko na watoto ambao watakuwa katika mazingira mema, katika mazingira ambayo ni ya kuwafanya waweze kuendelea. And even when couples divorce and go separate ways, they don't have to be enemies, I was quite impressed with a couple that I was counseling that told me, we went separate ways because as adults we disagreed. The children are innocent. And so, we will not go about kuongea mbaya kuhusu huyu, kuongea mbaya kuhusu bwanako wa zamani. We shall ensure that the environment our children grow up is as conducive as possible. That's the way to go. And I just want to make a plea, a passionate plea. The economic sector will not make this plea. The security sector will not make this plea. But this is the social sector and the right place where I can be able to raise these issues. Thank you so much for turning up in large numbers. I sincerely appreciate. We have reached that level where we need to go home. Therefore, God bless you. Tutaonana wakati mwingine.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, and Madam PS for leading us through that program. We want to appreciate everything that has happened, and we also want to indicate here that your memorandums have been received and action will be taken. As we break, just for information, there is tea outside for the public. I think as you move, you can pass by and have a cup or two. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.